Hello everybody. Today what we're going to do is just a quick demonstration on, I've got some Futaba connectors and that just happens to be the ones I have. You could use T connectors, they solder together. The ones I'm going to use today, crimp, JST's crimp. So you don't have to use these connectors, they're just what I had on hand, and I had somebody wanted to demo on them, so that's what we're going to do today. Let's get started.
This is just a quick thank you to all the people that subscribe and comment. It means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Welcome to my messy workbench. I've got a couple of dozen projects going right now. What we're actually going to do is little Futaba style servo connectors, but got some little LED lights that I'm tinkering with. And I got a PIR motion sensor. I'm going to put LED lights on the steps of my RV, so I'm just tinkering with a couple of values to see what I come up with for delay times and stuff like that. So we'll just make a little space, and what we're going to do today is the Futaba style, and this will work with JSTs or whatever. This is my old nitro box, clutches and spur gears and stuff. I'll tell you about this first, and what this is. You know, when you're a kid and your parents tell you you can't do something, and you test the theory, you push the limits a little bit. Well, every now and then you need to check and verify that things that you knew in the past are still active. And there's a law in physics that says two solids can't occupy the same place at the same time. And just to let you know, that still applies today. So you don't need to test that theory. I also learned that the flywheel and coil on a lawnmower, on a little Briggs & Stratton engine, the little 3/1000ths of an inch gap, my finger is thicker than 3/1000ths of an inch. And I figured out that the flywheel and the coil are both stronger than my finger. They are more of a solid, so no need to go there. More clutch shoes, more parts. Let's get down to what we need for this. Grab a couple of bags of goodies here. And what this is going to be for, if you want to, let's say this particular servo has got a huge wire on it. If you needed to shorten that, this would apply. If you want to make custom LEDs on your car, what we're going to talk about here would apply. It just makes a neater installation and something that's removable. See, I might need a pair of pliers. I don't need a bumper, but I do need my crimpers. So let me get all of this stuff out of the way. See, I don't know. Hey, this is a new headset that I'm using, so I'm trying to improve the audio on my channel. And you guys might let me know, somebody let me know if this is better, worse, or you're indifferent to it, because I'm currently tethered to my GoPro, which is kind of a hassle. Anyway, so you've got these little connectors here and these little sockets if you need to make a female side, and these pins. So you got the male pins for making the female socket, and generally what you've got here, you've got your three wires. The red one is going to be your 5 volts. The black one, sometimes they're brown, is going to be your ground, and the white one, sometimes it's yellow, is going to be your signal wire going to your servo. Now, if you have an old servo laying around, it kind of helps. The red wire is always going to be in the middle, but just to be sure that you're doing everything, kind of keeping everything to a standard convention, if you've got this laying around, and this will make more sense in just a minute. Let me get some of these pins out of here. These snap into the connectors. This little pair of crimpers that I got is a really cheap set, but they function. So these actually snap in, and there is an up and a down. There's a little pin that holds these things in place, and I don't know how well this does on a close-up. I normally use my iPhone for this kind of stuff, but I just can't get a headset that's compatible with it. But these little pins snap into these locations right here, and that's what holds them in so that the wires don't come out. So when you put one of these things together, if you kind of stick with that convention, it makes it easier than having to invert all of the wires. So what I kind of like to do, kind of the way to keep this in your head, is this is the way that they're going to go on, and you can see the gosh, you can't see. Okay, this is the way they're going to go on, and this is the side that locks. And if you look on these pins, you'll see this is the little tab that locks into, get something smaller than my finger, that's the little tab that locks it into place. So you need to put these on in the right order, or they won't snap into the piece here. And if you put them on the reverse way, then you have to try to twist the wires, and it just doesn't work out well. So I don't need any connectors, and I will tell you this: if you're just hooking up LED lights, you don't really need to use this. You've got other options, and I'll show you. This stuff right here I use a lot of. It's just speaker wire, 24 gauge speaker wire, and it's a lot cheaper than the servo wire. This and you only need the 2 conductors, and this particular stuff I got at Radio Shack, so that kind of tells you it's been around for a long time, and I haven't even put a big dent in it. But you've got a copper colored wire and a silver colored wire, so it's really easy to keep the polarity. I just pretend like that the copper colored one is red, and it'll go in my middle connector, and then the ground will stay with this convention right here. So anyway, for brevity, you need to strip back a little bit of insulation on these wires, and I find this stuff is very easy to pull apart with my thumbnail. So that's what I use, and I give it a little twist just to get all the wires easier to manage, and I think you get better contact, and it's less likely to pull out if you do this. Made that one too short. So when you get ready to put the connectors on, and I think I'll make the female side of this, so I'll use the ones with the pins just because this will make it easier to kind of follow what I'm talking about. So when you make a female connector, you actually use 2 components, the same parts you'd use to make the male, except you don't use sockets, you use the pins, and then they go in, and this has got a little notch in it. I doubt that you can see that, and this has a matching notch, so it's going to go in this way. So if you start this onto your servo, you can see which way it's going to go. Get the matching sides up here. Now there's no way to put this together wrong, because you have a little guide here by using the old piece. So the pins are going to go in this way, red wire here, the black wire is going to go here, and the white wire is going to go here. So just to keep everything in order, we're gonna do it this way. There's more than one way to do this, but this is the way I like. So I'm not going to tell you it's the only way, it's just the way it works well for me. When I put these in the crimper, you want to put the this little piece, in theory, folds over the pins. So you get this lined up in here, and I'll get this lined up and then I'll show you what I did. I've got this piece is butted up against the back side. Now when I put the wires in there, they're going to go in, and keep in mind on this one, this is what locks it in right here. So this needs to go on top. We've got the white wire we're going to do first. Put this back into the crimper. You need to put the wire in far enough that the insulation goes past the second set of tabs. Then you just give it a little squeeze, and that makes a really nice connection. These are very, very inexpensive crimpers, but maybe you can see this. The crimp, I don't know if this is going to work at all. The crimp is on the wire, and then we need to crimp this piece over, and it grabs the insulation. You might need to squeeze these down a little bit. Depends on your crimpers. There are some crimpers that crimp both pieces at the same time. They are a little more expensive, so for the average hobbyist that's not going to do this very frequently, you might just try getting by with a pair of these like I did. Anyway, we're going for the second part of the crimp, and then when we're done, we have a really nice crimp. So I'm going to do the red one and the black one really quick. Okay, so we've got this crimped on. All of these pieces are oriented the same way. This is going to match up to our servo wires. And you find your connector, make sure that everything is set the correct way, and we're going to put the signal wire in here. The red wire is going to go in the middle. And if you leave enough slack, you could do these one at a time. So since I like to keep the ends as short as possible, I find it's easier to push all three of them, get them at least started, and then you push them in until they click into place. Trying to keep this as much on camera as I can. I'm not used to the GoPro yet. Lack of keeping everything in the frame, but trying to get the audio better. I just was not happy with the audio, and I don't know if I'll be happy with the audio on this or either, but you guys can let me know, see what you think. I already know what I'm going to say, so I can understand me just fine. Okay, so these are all clicked into place now, so you can push on the pins and they won't retract into the housing. And this is going to be you put the male pins on the female side. You just there's that little piece here and a little notch here. Just get those lined up. You push it in until it clicks, and you're done. And then it'll plug right onto here, and this will only go in one way. Some of these things are not polarized. The ones I have are. So there you go. And it makes a really nice connector. Now, if you're just wanting to hook up LED lights, then what you would do, you'd come off your battery on your red end, and your red and black that are coming off your battery. You're going to install one of these connectors, and I would go with this end because there's no pin sticking out. These are shielded, but something has the potential to get up in there and short circuit that. That's just my opinion. So That's what I would do. And so what you're going to do here, you got your red wire in the middle, your black wire here. So you're going to do the same thing with the pins that I just did, but the red wire is going to go to the middle and the silver one is going to go to the outside, and that's going to give you your red and black. So when you plug this in, and if you've already got a splitter cable, I know Island RC Duke has already got the splitter cable on for his, so all he's got to do is put these two ends on it, and this one on his battery side and one like this, just using the center conductor and the negative. And if you've got a servo laying around, you can keep those separated or oriented the right way, and you'll have your red and black wires that are coming off that you're spliced into now. Then you'll just put this connector on here, this connector on your Y, and then this whole thing will come out. So you got your plug for your fan, your plug for your LEDs, and your plug here. So everything comes back out and leaves it in case you want to make some modifications, changes, or whatever. To me, it just makes it very easy, very simple. So hope this helps somebody. I don't know. I'll see if I can turn this into a video or not. I don't even know if this mic actually has audio. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. If you got anything out of this, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel if you get a chance. Pass it on to somebody that you think it might help. In case anyone's interested in stuff like this, I'll show you a little bit about what I got going up here, the rest of my mess. I'll get the hammer off of my magnets, and what I've got here is bunches of LEDs for future projects. Different colors, different sizes. I have 3mm, 5mm, 10mm, and lots of resistors and stuff to drop them down, little buckets to put them in. So at some point this will be, probably at least some of that will go into a video. For now, we're going to call it a night. Everybody take care. Catch you down the road.